Hey folks, how's it going? Chris here from Mod Extra Games and Collectibles, back again today with another collector's thoughts on the sofa, which I put in speech marks because I'm clearly, once again, recording this not on my sofa. And today's thought is about San Diego Comic-Con. It's San Diego Comic-Con season, folks, and that means that every time I open up Discord, go into Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, chat room, website, you name it, if I'm looking for nerdy news, I am seeing San Diego Comic-Con stuff. And that includes previews of new releases and exclusives. And that's the real point I want to get to, is the idea of exclusives. But it's an exciting time. There's loads going on. Tons of things for nerdy, man-children like me who worship at the broad church of nerddom to get all excited about. But the exclusives are problematic for me. And in many respects, my feelings about San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, well, any convention exclusive really, just it's San Diego Comic-Con that's brought it to the forefront of my mind. They're largely irrational and a little bit unreasonable, and I recognise that, but I really, really don't like convention exclusives, and I particularly don't like San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Now, I've known a lot of the exclusives that are coming up at San Diego Comic-Con. They've been floating around in the stuff that I collect, the action figures, and in some of the statues, and in some of the gaming stuff. I've seen them floating around, but this week, with San Diego Comic-Con going on, it's become real. It feels real, and has ignited this kind of dark energy around me where I'm just grumpy about exclusives, because it's a fine tightrope. It's a very careful, fine tightrope that I think companies have to walk when it comes to things like convention exclusives. And on occasion, they get it wrong. Really, really wrong. And it just gets me aggy. Really aggy. Now, like I say, don't get me wrong. I totally understand why these exist. It's good for the convention, because it's a means of attracting punters to come and visit their convention and make the event feel more special and more premium in tone and feel. So, the San Diego Comic-Con people, or whatever the convention is, are going to want that. And then for the exhibitor themselves, who are exhibiting there and giving a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, well, it's going to not only bring the punters into the convention, but bring the punters to their stall, to their exhibition, to, preview their products or to put money in their cash register on the day. So I get it. I totally understand why they exist. And in the world of gaming, some of you regular viewers around here will know that I'm an avid tabletop gamer. I've seen some companies really get exclusives right. So there's a big gaming convention, they put on an exclusive, but it's an alternative art version of a component or a card from the game that already exists. So your average punter who can't make it to the convention can get their hands on one, but this alternative art, which is just a little bit jazzier, or it's in foil or something, or it's got a convention like logo stamp on it just to make it a little bit more special, that's bothered me less. Although I am obviously, a raging psychotic completionist who needs to collect them all. But that bothers me less, that's a little less of a problem. But I have seen gaming companies who've given away a convention exclusive card for a collectible card game, and it's like a hardcore promo that's really powerful in the game, and you can only get it by going to the convention. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? What are you doing? Or they take a standard release and just... Well, let me kind of bring you in the loop. The one that's really aggravated me is the McFarlane Toys Gold Label Nightfall Batman. In fact, let me switch screens so I can put it in the top corner here for you now. This one here. Now, this one is fundamentally exactly the same as the over-the-counter retail release that I have literally just reviewed on this channel. Literally, my pre-order arrived only a matter of days after I saw this fucking thing and announced as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So this is the same figure to all intents and purposes, but it's just got these little paint application bits on it that I feel should have been included on the main release. The black shadowy effect, the paint application for the black shadowy effect on top of the blue mask and on his over the trouser underpants. that's the one that set me off. That's the one that's made me feel aggy, because I feel like it's not like here's an alternative version of something that's unique and different, that's especially for you as a convention attendee. This is what the mainline one should have fucking looked like. You know what I mean? And it's really, really aggravated me, this one. Because if you look at some of the other, like, McFarlane exclusives, like this Superman, it's wacky, it's crazy, it's only available at San Diego Comic-Con, and that's great and that's fine, because it's special and it's unique and it's giving that premium vibe that the convention wants and that McFarlane wants, so that people go to his stand there at the convention, or, well, it would be the DC stand, presumably. So that is what a convention exclusive should look like the foil alt art cards from a collectible card game. I tell you what as well, Hasbro, with Chuckles, and previously things like Dr. Mindbender, it just does my nutting. Now, I've got to contextualise that a little bit, because this kind of very deep-seated dislike, almost hatred of convention exclusives are driven by the fact that, you know, in my state of middle age, as a middle-aged nerd who's been literally collecting stuff since a young child for decades and decades, you know, I'm an elder statesman of the millennial age. In the UK, convention exclusives, particularly North American convention exclusives, there was a time in my life, long before eBay, long before the internet, where they were like these mythical things that you caught glimpses of in pictures, in magazines, or you saw another collector had got their hands on, that they were exhibiting a collection. This was, you know, back in the days when you'd go to a convention and it wasn't all just stuff being sold to you. There'd be people exhibiting things, actually exhibiting collections. You'd be like, oh, where'd you get that from? They're like, oh, well, there was only, you know, 300 of those sold in North America at such and such a convention, all that. And so they were just these mythical items that I could never, ever, ever, ever dream of owning, because I would never have the money to go and visit the convention where it was taking place, or on the secondary market. I would never have the money to pick the items up. Now, things have got a lot better, of course. eBay, you know, convention exclusives, certainly since the pandemic, have been more widely available on the internet. You know, I'm actually really quite confident that the gold label Nightfall Batman that's caught my eye, that I feel is a better looking version than the one I've only just got. Although that's a kind of secondary issue, because I feel like Todd's been a little bit murk. I mean, I know he's in the business of making money, but I felt like I've literally just reviewed that one on my channel. It came like more or less around the time, the pre-order came around the time that the gold label version was announced. And I feel like that's a bit snide. I feel like the timing's a bit sucky around that one. But I'm confident it'll turn up. It'll turn up. You know, a good quality independent retailer over here will get some import stock, or Todd will make it available to ship directly from his website. I'll have to pay the US to UK shipping or whatever. I know Chuckles. I'm going to get, you know, in fact, I've already made arrangements to get hands on Chuckles. That's fine. You know, so stuff comes around. Convention exclusives tend to be re-exclusivized at other conventions, and there'll be other stuff closer to home. Conventions here in the UK are, you know, increasing in standard. The UK Games Expo, for example, where I've picked up convention exclusive gaming items before, are the same as the ones that are at Essen, the same as the ones at Gen Con, all that kind of stuff. So I do recognise that it's a little bit unreasonable, and times have changed. I'm just kind of clinging on to this feeling, this little, imagine little 12-year-old Chris in the comic shop hearing whispers of these exclusive items. There's like some trading cards I know exist from some of the collections in these binders here that I've never even seen a picture of. You know what I mean? I mean, actually, I should go and have a look, because there probably are pictures of them around about on the internet. But some of them I've never even seen a picture of. I've just seen them listed on a card list and gone, what? Where's that card come from? When was that available? What's it? And then you see in brackets after it, you know, New York Comic Con, whatever. So yeah, I get it. I get that it's an unreasonable feeling, but it's just, obviously this week, San Diego Comic Con is going on. It's wildly outside the realms of possibility that I'll ever be able to fly over and visit San Diego Comic Con with my family, the age that they are. You know, budget-wise, cost of living crisis. It's not anything I can look at. I could maybe make a polite request for my 50th birthday or something, but So it is outside the realms of possibility for me, and so it just feels very real. And you know, the FOMO is strong. The FOMO is strong, and that's the point, really, isn't it? I suppose it's my FOMO. I'm not actually negging the companies because I get it. I totally get why the convention and the exhibitors there would want to do exclusives of this nature. You know, I mean, like the Silver Surfer that Gentle Giant are putting out in the Scotty Young animated statue line looks amazing. Looks really sweet. Although they get it right because they just do like a repaint, different uniforms. So their Elektra a couple of years ago was a repaint, a different colour scheme from a particular comic series. The Nightcrawler last year, whereas Nightcrawler this year, he's in his X-Force uniform rather than his X-Men Gold Team uniform, stuff like that. And that's how to do it right, isn't it? Something a little bit special, but that's not exclusionary. I just feel like Chuckles is a bit exclusionary, and I feel like the Nightfall Batman, well, that's slightly unique in its own right, because I feel like that's a gold label version of a figure that should have been put out that way in the first place, and the timing's a bit iffy. Anyway, I'm repeating myself, I'm rambling on, but there's my random thought of the day. I'm just watching all the San Diego Comic-Con stuff go on and just feeling really mad FOMO, and getting unreasonably neggy and aggy about the exclusives because the little 12-year-old Chris has just crept up to the forefront to take control of the brain computer. You know what I mean? And just feeling that pain, and that pain lives strong in collectors outside of North America who can't get to these conventions. And probably in North America, I bet, traveling from one side of the US to San Diego, if you're on the East Coast or whatever, that's no like a low budget option for you, is it? So there you go. I'm going to wrap it up there. I never know how to wrap these up, these more rambly videos. But please do let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on convention exclusives. The Batman Nightfall in particular. Is there something that feels a bit off about that one in particular? Not just that it's an exclusive, but that maybe it's what the figure should have been in the retail release. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit precious there. Tell me if I'm being a bit precious. I'm not. I'm a big boy. I'm thick-skinned because I think I am being a bit precious, really. But yeah, just share your thoughts. And yeah, check out the Batman Nightfall review for the retail edition that has just got up on the channel a day or two ago. And yeah, I'll catch you around these parts again sometime soon. Thanks for listening to me churn around. See you later, folks.